they're very happy to get all these offers that are way over asking price, but at the same time, they need to make sure that that closes. And with those pass fail inspections, you say, all right, I'm going to get in there. By that night or next day, we're either moving forward or we aren't.
My name is Kevin McIntosh, and this is the Closing Table, where we talk to experts about their experience in real estate all across the country. Let's go. Back to the Closing Table. I am your host, and I go by the name of Kevin C. McIntosh. Joining us here on this episode, we're speaking to an experienced real estate agent. He goes by the name of Nick Kalte. How you doing, Nick?
Good morning. How are you? Doing good.
Man, thank you for asking, man. I'm doing great myself. No complaints this way, man. We're here to talk business, of course, real estate. We want to educate a few potential and current home buyers and sellers. But before we get into that, I just want to have a quick little game, man. Quick fun. It's an icebreaker called This or That.
Okay.
What we're going to do, I got a word or two or phrase related to real estate, and I just want you to just choose one based off your own merits, your own experience, whatever you choose. And you can tell us why you chose it if you want to. You ready?
Okay, good.
All right, let's do this, man. First one, fenced yard or open yard?
I don't have any pets. I don't have any dogs, so I would do an open yard.
Okay.
I grew up with pets, and right now I'm just trying to keep my house clean and my yard clean, so I'll do an open yard.
I feel that. Closing costs or down payment?
I like closing costs. I know there's a lot of lenders right now helping with down payment assistance, but closing costs right now, like keeping them very minimal, maybe getting some seller concessions, which is a little foreign of a word right now, but I always like that because you can work closing costs a little bit more.
I feel it. Great answer. Single family home or multi-family home?
Single family home, for sure. Yeah, you just get like the typical ranch or like colonial, just like a house to start a family, retire from, downsize. Like, yeah, single family ranch, brick ranch too.
Oh,
that's the key.
Okay. Look, man, who knows what he likes? All right. Closing skills or follow-up skills?
Follow-up skills too. You have to keep your sphere moving, and you have to keep them engaged. You have to stay engaged yourself too, and
right.
Doing a good job in closing on a home is awesome, but I think a lot of people don't end up following up and having that sphere of influence moving and having that client sending friends and family and thinking about you well past your closing day.
That's a good point. Okay. Last one, ability to work independently or teamwork skills?
A little bit of both. I've been independent myself for a long time, but here at my company, like we are very much one big team, and the benefits of that have been incredible. I think learn how to be a good individual agent and then learn how to build a team so that you can train other agents to be good individual agents. A little bit of both.
Makes sense. All right, cool, man. Well, thank you for playing our quick game. Have a little bit of fun, shake things up here on the Closing Table. It's not all seriousness, but I want to know a little bit about you. Why don't you tell us, me and the audience, who is Nick Kalte outside of real estate?
So outside of real estate, huge dork. Yesterday was May the 4th, and my wife and I went downtown to a huge collection of people that were all dressed in Star Wars outfits, and we drank, we had food, that's who I am. I 100% was raised a huge nerd, so that's what I do in my spare time is dorky stuff.
Nice. You know what I like, man? When people explain who they are outside of real estate, you get to, find out the different personalities, the different things people do. But more than anything, I like to hear because everybody has their own thing. And even outside of that, when you have your own thing, let's say you chose golf or something like that. If you go out and golf often, I'm pretty sure you go out and you also meet potential clients in that way. So is it the same way for you when you go out and go to different events and conventions of things you like? You're meeting clients?
Well, it's funny you bring up golfing too, because I don't know how to golf, and that's like the number one thing our industry, like
correct,
building clientele and sphere through golfing. And I'm like, I can drive the cart and do the alcohol, but I can't swing a golf club. But yeah, no, it is though. And gathering, having something outside of work that you can actually unintentionally generate business from like-minded people.
Yeah.
And then essentially it becomes a very easy buyer or seller to work to if you already know off the top of your head, like you have similar interests. It just becomes
Yeah.
more of a friendly, right off the bat. You don't come off as a salesman. Because hey, I just saw you the other day at the Star Wars convention, so like we have something to talk about, and I'm a human outside of being a realtor,
Sure
so
thing.
it is very important.
Yeah, man. Yeah. That's a great major key right there. Let's get into
Yeah,
the nitty gritty of it, man. Before we even talk about what you're doing in your market, let's describe your market. Why don't you take some time to describe your current market for us and our audience? Maybe for people
yeah,
who's never been there. Give as many details as possible.
yeah. So like most markets right now, we're very competitive. We don't have enough homes to sell compared to how many buyers are looking, and now it's the spring market too, so there's just this rush of buyers. Um, some people are a little fearful that, hey, prices are kind of high. Well, it's the balance between the right lender, the right realtor, and getting a good offer accepted with a good mortgage too.
Correct.
Um, because of this demand of no homes, that's why we're seeing these prices so high. But
Mm-hmm.
there's a lot of key like negotiating skills. There's a lot of things that can go into making a good home and getting a good mortgage, and that's why it's important to have an experienced agent who's seen this before. We
Mm-hmm.
had a mad rush of agents like a couple of years ago because it was a little easier to sell homes when there were so many people looking and so many people selling. But once we had that balance, it became tough to do our job. And experience now and knowledge of this wave is very important, and like now more than ever too. So um, that's our current state of the market is very
Mm-hmm.
competitive right now with too many buyers and not enough homes to sell.
Mm, And like I always say here at the closing table, we've heard that same song plenty of
Hmm.
times in regards to the
Yeah.
inventory. And just to be clear, geographically, where's your market?
I'm like Metro Detroit, Tri County.
Okay. Okay. Cool.
Yep.
Cool. We just want to make sure so our audience listening and watching right
Yeah.
now knows that. Okay. So yeah, in Detroit, other major markets, even in the smaller markets, mid markets, we're seeing pretty much the same thing. There's
Yeah.
a shortage of homes, housing inventory shortage, or whatever you want to call it, essentially. So nowadays, it's a lot more important, like you said, to work with the right
Hmm.
lender and real estate agent more than anything. People that are knowledgeable and can help you navigate the great
Yeah.
get the best deal. So thank you, sir.
Yep.
Speaking of lenders, right? Private lenders. Do you have any experience working with private lenders?
Yeah. Yeah. Credit unions, banks. There's a few private lenders we work with that are very, very good at what they do, and the programs they have right now are awesome. Um, that's key right now too, because with rates being a little bit higher than they were even a couple of years ago, there's some recency bias, and
Mm-hmm.
you have to get creative with what you're doing for buyers, and you have to give them some kind of program or some kind of plan that's going to stick in their mind. um, some way that you're giving back too. And I think that's key right now because we are seeing the lenders that are standing out compared to other lenders with these
Mm-hmm.
programs that they're doing. Hey, 1% down. Hey, no PMI. Um, so many different things going on right now to really encourage buyers. Like, hey, we know this market's tough, but like, here's what we're going to do to get you into an awesome plan.
Gotcha.
um, yeah, that's huge right now. That's huge right now.
Hmm.
And some of the lenders that we work with, company wide and even independently, just myself, are doing a very good job to stand out.
Nice. Okay. I gotta dive a little bit deeper into that. But you said something. I want to make sure. Did you say regency bias? What did you say?
Recency bias. Like I
Recency.
bought
What
my
is
home
that?
last year. Like the rates. Everyone's thinking, well, 6%. This is crazy because my friend last year just bought a home and got a 3.5. Well, that was
Mm,
different times, and
yeah.
that low of a rate is not going to be back for a while. So I think a
Yeah.
lot of people are thinking like, "Hey, a year ago, I may have missed out. Oh, why am I going to buy a home now when it's 6%?" It's a little bit of like kicking themselves, and hey, my friend got it this percent, but it's not just about the rate right now. I know they're a little bit higher. Honestly, over the past 40, 50 years, we're actually at like an average of what rates have been.
Mm-hmm.
But like I say, it's that recency from the past couple of years ago where it was two to
Mm,
2 to 3.5%, just rates that aren't going to be back for a very long time. That's why I say with lenders, it's very important to get creative with what you're offering, Because on our end of it, it's the negotiating. The agents are there to negotiate and
Right.
help you get a great offer accepted. The mortgage guys are there, guys and gals are there to get you a good mortgage at a good rate
Correct. The
and help
finance.
you here, help you there. Right. So yeah,
Hmm.
that's what I say with recency bias.
Hey, that's a new term I haven't heard in regards to real estate. So, okay, I just wanted to make sure I
Yeah.
heard that clear and we expounded on it. All right. So,
Yep.
are there any specific situations where you feel like a client should be using a private lender?
Um, if the program will adhere to it, if there's somebody out there that has a great program that's going to benefit the client in their situation, then yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Sometimes it's worth it to go with the bigger name companies if they can offer you something that really appeals to you, and sometimes it's better to go with a smaller, credit union or bank that's really going to adjust to what your situation is. And it's almost different every situation, honestly, because no one's the same. It's different credit
Right.
scores, different incomes, different cash on hand. Um, Truly, the research is important to do.
No, no, that's a fact. That's a fact. Yeah, every situation is different.
Hmm.
Every transaction is different. Every offer is going to be different. And with that
Yep.
being said, you have some offers where appraisal guarantee is being brought up.
Unfortunately.
I know what an appraisal guarantee is. I mean, I know what an appraisal is, but what is an appraisal guarantee, and how does this affect this negotiation process going on?
Yeah, and right now it's actually one of the biggest factors going into offers, and it's essentially, hey, I saw a home for 200,000. I want to offer 200,000. Okay, now a day later, my next call, hey buyer, they actually have four offers. We need to go over asking price.
Mm,
Here's what an appraisal guarantee is. All right, I offered you 220, but the home only came in at 200. Now we have this
mm.
gap. The seller's expecting a purchase price of 220. We are saying, hey, this is only appraising at 200. You have that $20,000 gap. And that's what an appraisal guarantee is. People right off the bat saying, hey, if it appraises low, I will come up that difference out of my own pocket. So on top
Ooh,
of the down payment and the closing costs, you now have this
wow.
hypothetical $20,000 out of pocket additional. So some people with their offers are saying, hey, because I'm going 20 over, I'm backing it up with my own cash. Now you don't have to do the full price appraisal guarantee. You could say, hey, I'll
Hmm.
come out 10 grand of my own if it comes in low. But that's essentially what people are doing. I'm writing offers with $55,000 appraisal guarantees. It's insane.
Oh, oh my goodness. What are we doing, people? Oh man. Okay. Wow. People are really trying to get in these homes. I mean, like
That's
we're
what it is.
seeing,
There's not enough homes. There's not enough. I have
right.
multiple buyers texting me the same day. Hey, can we see 123 Main? Yeah, let me set it up for 2 o'clock. 10 minutes later, hey, can we see 123 Main? I'll set it up for 2:30. Like I'm
Right.
hanging out at the same house waiting for other buyers to come through. There's just too many buyers,
Man.
and you have to get creative. You have to get
I mean,
creative because a lot of people are spending cash right now too.
yeah, yeah. I'm hearing that too. Around on
Yep,
average nationally, like 27% are of transactions are like cash deals or
cash.
something, which is crazy to me, man. So I mean, does this seem like this sounds like a good problem to have as a real estate agent, correct? I want to make sure I'm understanding that.
Yes and no. I mean, we like if you're working a lot of buyers, then no. But if you have
Mm,
a lot of listings, absolutely.
I can see that. I can see that.
Yeah, like I say, because it's you do have a lot of people, and the knowledge, like I say, the knowledge of the market and the experience is going to help you
Hmm.
get an offer accepted. What happens if you have four people looking at the same house? That means three of those people are not going to win that house.
Correct. Correct.
It's
Oh
just very
man.
competitive. Yeah, it's very competitive. But like I say, there is a path you can navigate when you have the right agent. Um,
Right.
it's just essentially a lot of buyers with not a lot of homes. So that's why it's important to understand, what your home is worth. If now is the time to sell, because we are so low on inventory that we just need people to have the conversation about selling.
That's interesting, especially in the Detroit market. I know the Detroit
Hmm.
market specifically is so much more different from other markets, especially these major metropolitan cities across the country. Like
Right.
Detroit has always been that dark horse, you know what I'm saying? That
Hmm.
different type of city where I mean, I think I heard recently they say it's still like one of the best places to like get investment properties, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, would you confirm
Yeah,
that?
yeah, because a lot of people are seeing the city revitalized, and there's a lot
Right.
of spots all over the city that are starting to get. um, younger crowd moving down there, and parts of the city are starting to pick back up. So there is a lot of interest here because homes are still very affordable down there,
Yeah,
to
yeah.
purchase with cash or even just grab a mortgage on, or as an investment property. And like I say, a lot of people are with the intent that, hey, in the next 10 years, this is going to be, even more of a booming city, and they're going to have all
Mm.
these properties for rent or for sale. So we are seeing a lot of people scoop up homes in Detroit.
Nice, nice. I can see that. Okay, so we discussed appraisals. I want to move into inspections because
Hmm.
there's a type of inspection that I just learned about. I need you to kind of clarify this.
I
Pass
know what you're going to
fail
say.
inspections.
I just got an
What
accepted offer an hour ago, and we have a pass fail inspection.
what is this? And why would a buyer get one done? What is this? Let's
So essentially, you're telling them, hey, we're not going to ask for repairs or negotiate. We're just going to go in, see if we like the property or not, and then back out or move forward. And it's very important when you have multiple offers. If there's 10 offers on the table, a seller is going to look at price, but they're also going to look at which of these offers is going to get me to the closing table. And if you have a pass fail inspection on there, that means you're essentially saying, hey, give me a couple days to have an inspection, and then I'll let you know I'm moving forward or I'm backing out. That way, in a few
right,
days, we know if this is on or not. And the reason that's important is because, like I say, if there's 10 offers, that means 9 of those offers are not getting accepted. And they don't want
hmm
to play any games. Sellers don't want to play any games right now.
I feel
They're
it.
very happy to get all these offers that are way over asking price, but at the same time, they need to make sure that that closes. And with those pass fail inspections, you say, all right, I'm going to get in there. Uh, by that night or next day, we're either moving forward or we aren't. And it gives
Mm.
the seller reassurance too, like, hey, they're not going to come and try and gouge me on this or this and ask for this, ask for this, ask for this. So a lot of people are doing pass fail inspections. I'm actually a huge advocate for it because it helps get your
Really?
offer accepted. Yeah, it helps get your offer accepted, but also you get that due diligence of having an inspection. And then at least you still
Yeah.
get the opportunity that's like, hey, if I found a problem here or here, we need to know if we want to take that on or just move forward. It's a
Oh,
way of getting your offer accepted, and if the other option is to lose out on the home, um, it's a way of actually having your, you know, being in the battle of that, because essentially if you don't, and someone just looks at you as a plain offer, and then some other person comes in with cash that's like, hey, I'm going to close in 2 weeks.
yeah.
I'll look at it, I'll have a quick inspection. It's like you're getting competitive with them now too. So it's all about sellers right now.
And
They are
okay.
driving the market, and they get all of the perks right now, and
I
it
knew you were
helps.
gonna say that, Nick. So I gotta challenge you. You can feel free to curve me on this one, man. But I gotta ask you.
No, it's
I know
cool.
you were speaking from a seller's representing the seller's perspective on that with that
Hmm.
pass fail inspection. If you
Yep.
were representing the buyer, would you still be a fan of it?
I usually have the conversation like, hey, they have multiple offers. Ours is
Hmm.
not standing out unless you want
Right.
to give an appraisal guarantee. Here's another option that's not so drastic. Hey, do you have an extra $20,000 for a guarantee? No, I actually don't. I'm a first time buyer. Okay, how about having a pass fail inspection to appease to the seller and give our offer a chance to get accepted. If not, like
Okay.
I say, we'll have a normal inspection. But the cool thing about it is, like I say, is you still get the chance to have that inspection, and you're the one that gets to decide. So at the end of the day, I
Gotcha.
can tell them, like, we're going to have our inspection. We're going to have a list of everything with this house, and then you still get to decide if you want it or if you want to
Right.
back out. Yeah, it
So
gives them their
it's
due diligence, takes a little bit of the negotiating power away, but essentially I have that
correct.
conversation right off the bat and I say, "Hey, is this the house or not?" Because like we're going to have that inspection, but essentially like you're putting even more forward. Like I need to know, is this the house? And if they're like, "This is it." I can see my kid playing over here, and there's the fenced in yard for my dog,
Hmm.
all these things. It's like, well, then if we're going to beat the other 9 offers, we have to get a little more aggressive.
I can see
I'm
that.
not saying I like it. It's just a negotiating power right now that
I
gets
get it.
people accepted offers. It's actually the reason we just got ours accepted an hour ago
Really? Oh
for the
man,
buy
closing
side. For the buy
deals.
side,
Right.
yeah.
Okay. Okay. I get it. I get it. It helps,
But the guy
especially if you
said,
don't have
"Hey,
that money.
yeah," and the guy said, "Hey, I can do 99% of this work myself." So we walked in, and he said, "Oh, I'm going to do that, that,
Mm.
that, that, and that." So he
Mm.
was like, I already know what's going on. I plan on doing this myself. So I said, all right, we'll have a pass fail. And, you'll still get
Right.
the option to back out if we find mold in the attic or something we couldn't see when we walked through. But essentially, it made our offer look strong enough, too.
Right, right. And essentially, like you said, it is a pass fail. So if it is like to the point it's horrible, it's almost not even livable, or
Yeah, right.
some of the main
Yep.
things are falling apart, I'm assuming it would go into a fail. And then you'd
Yeah,
have to
right,
make a decision
exactly.
from
And
there.
and
Right,
it
right.
still
Okay.
gives the buyer the power to be like, "Hey, I'm not doing this house. I'm out."
Right, right, right. Okay. I get it. All right, cool, cool. Well, thank you for putting that perspective on it, because
Yeah.
I was completely against it. Like, why are we doing this?
Yeah.
But
No, it's cool.
it's the
I like
market.
the
So
yeah, I like the other viewpoint too. I
yeah.
appreciate that too.
All right. So you also you made a recent decision, right? Leaving your team, or something like that, working solo. Is that correct? Am I saying that correct?
No, I came to Quest Realty last year,
Okay.
from another brokerage I was at for a while, and like I say, they're built more like a team. Like we have a transaction coordinator on our side. We have like an admin, and they all even our broker
Got you.
himself,
Okay.
he, we'll send over an offer for an email and he chimes in like, "Hey, I just want to give you reassurance. Like I'm an involved broker. I'm not somebody that's just charging my agents." It's super involved and structured very much like a team. We are individual
Mm,
agents, but the support we have on the back end is like nothing I've seen before. I'm still blown away, and I'm coming up on
okay.
a year at this place. I've been in real estate for years, but like I've only been at this company now for less than a year, and it's
Nice.
just mind boggling the difference, like what we have to offer, and the combined experience of all the agents that are giving us knowledge aside from our broker who's just running this like incredible company. It's mind blowing. I've
Beautiful.
literally never seen anything like it. They give us the option to really do what we do best and handle so much on the back end, so we can just go out there and be the face of. We have the sexy job. We get to get in front of
Oh, okay.
people and show them the cool houses and stuff like that, and like
Right.
they give us the option to do that. I always tell
Nice.
that to the lenders
Nice.
too. I'm like, unfortunately, you guys are on the back end. Like we're the face of it all to appeal, but it's
That's
just cool.
real.
The company like gives us a very good uh, a way to continue to do that and continue to show houses at a very or sell houses, I should say, at a very like high rate. And
Mm,
they handle so much on the back end too that it's very they make it very easy for us,
okay.
easier
That's
than most
good.
companies do.
That's
Yeah,
good. I know some agents, like to work solo. Some of them like to work on teams. So I just want to
yeah,
clarify that on that. And when you are working with a seller, right?
hmm,
And you know, I know as a buyer, especially if I'm purchasing something from a private seller or whatever the case may be,
yeah,
no matter what it is, 9 times out of 10, I want to know why you're selling this product. That kind
right.
of makes a difference to me. In your experience, how much of an impact or factor does the reason that the seller is selling the property matter to the buyer?
It definitely matters, especially if it's a home that's like back on market. First thing I always get is, "Hey, why did it come back on market?" Because I think most people think the worst right off the bat. Oh, another buyer went to inspection and there was like all these things wrong, and I don't want to be,
Mm,
I don't want to take on a home with all these problems. But yeah, I do have a lot of buyers that ask me that too. Like, "Hey, what's the reasoning for why they backed out?" Or not even essentially like backed on market, but like why are they listing in general?
correct, correct.
Oh, it's a estate sale or it's a, you know, uh, upgrading, downsizing. Like there's plenty of reasons why. And then essentially, like one of the bigger reasons, I'm always like, hey, the market's incredibly hot. They're cashing out on some of the equity in their home. Like just to be honest with you, and I think being upfront and them knowing what's going on, it helps to like paint the picture of this process that they're very new to, because that's what we're doing. That's what I'm doing. That's what the lender's doing. Like we're like building this process around them, and they're the most important ones, but they still have all the questions, which is perfectly normal. So being able to fill in that gap, oh, why is this person selling this house? Is it just kind of paints the picture a little easier for them, and
Mm,
explains the reason why this house is being sold, and it helps guide them to essentially having faith and trust in this home that they're purchasing. It's one of the biggest purchases you'll ever make in your life
for
is home
sure,
ownership.
for
So it's
sure.
important to have all the keys and exactly know exactly what's going on with a home.
Absolutely, absolutely. There's a lot of different like legal and contractual work
Yeah,
that
right.
goes into it too, and you're supposed to be the liaison for that also for both the buyers and the sellers. Are there like some key legal information or rights for either the buyer or the seller that they should really know about that you usually educate them about during the process?
Um, Mainly like their contingencies, which is in their contract. I like to reiterate like the purchase agreement to them because that's like the meat and bones of everything.
Gotcha.
It's like, hey, you have the right to an inspection, you have the right to an appraisal, the right to a title company. Here's when an earnest money check is. Here's what we're using it for, just so they know everything that's going on. So there's not any hiccups or any question marks. Like, wait, why are you asking me for a check being deposited at the title company? Like, just making sure to present all that information right off the bat so they know exactly what they're entitled to in this transaction as we get to the closing table. And if they want to back out too, if there's something wrong on this pass fail inspection and they don't want to move forward any longer, it's like, hey, here's what you need to know and where you're able to back out without losing any money.
That is key information. All
Yeah.
right, yeah, that's probably like the most important one. Like, how if I
Yeah.
decide I just don't want to do this
Well,
anymore, I
yeah,
get cold
right.
feet. What's the
Right.
penalty? So,
And I get that question a lot. Yeah. A lot of people are like,
mm-hmm.
hey, if I just wake up and decide I don't want this house, it's like, well, here's what you need to know. Here's the step by
Correct.
step of when you essentially are able to do that, when you can't do that. But yeah, because someone falls in love with a home, but we play an emotional game right now where there's not enough homes and a lot of buyers are making emotional purchases. Even a condo listing I just had, we had two we had we had two offers back out by the time we got to the third offer, and it was cold feet. It was day of. We took an offer. They got back to us. Hey, can we look one more time? Yeah, we want to back out. They essentially just threw a large offer just to get the home, and then backed out. Second guy, oh, thanks for coming back to us. Like we're so glad that you took our offer. Next day, hey, we're gonna back out. I'm like, what's
Oh,
going on here? So then finally by the third one, they're like, we're sticking to it. I'm like, I just couldn't believe it. But some people do that right now too. They throw everything to make it look appealing, and then they exercise that due diligence period to back out for any reason.
At no
Yeah,
penalty.
no
Oh
penalty.
man,
No, which
ooh,
for a buyer is a huge bonus because during that due diligence
yeah,
period, they'll
yeah.
have their inspection and then they'll back out if they hold feet. But yeah, people do that too. I've had agents that are like, "Hey, are you just throwing me like a large offer just to back out?" And I said, "No, like here's our appraisal guarantee, here's our pass fail inspection, all of the key terms that I know you want to hear to let you know that we're serious. We're
Right,
serious
right.
buyers."
Mm. Oh
That's
man,
why it's
that's
important
interesting.
that pass fail sometimes. I'm not an
Yeah,
advocate. I'm just telling you, if you get your
I
offer
see it.
accepted and you have the right intentions.
You putting it all on the table, and I get it, man. You're educating us. I appreciate that. Hey, Nick, why don't you tell us if there is any specific book, movie, quote, philosophy, or any other content that you felt helped motivate you or change your direction or inspire you in some type of way? Why don't you share that with me and our audience?
The Big Short. It's one of the greatest movies of all time, and it's
Okay.
very important too because it's just a snapshot of what happened, 15 years ago. A lot of times I get people reaching out like, "Hey, are you nervous of a crash?" Because of what happened back then. Well, back
Mm,
then was a completely different situation of what's going on now, and there are a lot
correct.
of financially stable, backed buyers right now.
Mhm.
I know prices are a little bit higher, but what happened long ago is not repeating itself. There are a lot of people that even to get a mortgage. I know the lenders I work with too. It's actually it's harder now to get a mortgage than it was back then.
Mhm.
And like I say, people are backed with cash. They're guaranteeing this money out of their pocket. It's not a lender just saying, "Hey, don't worry about your income or your job. We're just going to approve you for $500,000 right now." And you go get two homes or something like. It's not like that anymore. It's people like, "Hey, I have the
Right.
cash. Here it is. Here are my statements. Here's my money out of pocket." But yeah, it's a very weirdly inspiring movie to make me want to work harder too. Maybe I think
Okay.
because it's talking about our industry. So I'm like a visual of our industry, and they're throwing around mortgage terms and stuff. It's just cool. I always
Right.
toss it on and get motivated and start writing some offers.
I like that. I like that. Cool. That's
Yeah,
a new
in a
one,
good
man.
way
I
though. Yeah, in a
appreciate
good
it.
way. In a good way.
Yeah. My man's Nick, man. Well, we appreciate you for pulling up a chair, coming to the closing table, man.
Thank
At
you
this
very
moment,
much.
if you have any last words and or want to tell the people how they can reach out to you, now's your opportunity.
Yep. I'm on Facebook at Nick Kalte at Quest Realty. you can get me there. You can get my personal profile. My number is 248-417-1179. Just reach out to me with any questions. The biggest thing right now is I'm not going to try and salesman anybody, but we have the knowledge to present you, and we just want to see if it's the right time for you to buy or sell. And consultation is always free, no obligation. You can ghost me. It doesn't matter. Just have that first talk. Like, I just want to explain to you if it's right, why it's right. And then go from there, essentially.
There it is. 100% authentic, man. Thank you, Nick, for pulling up a
you for
chair
having
again,
me.
joining us here. For our YouTube
Thank you.
audience watching right now, if you've gotten to this point in the video, now's your time to hit that thumb, aka the like button. Please and thank you. Make sure you also share the content and subscribe to our channel. And if you are listening on Apple, Spotify, or any other podcast platforms, please do the same. Okay, give us a like, 5-star rating, and subscribe for our latest content. Hey, Nick, and we're gonna leave our audience with a question before we leave. If you could live in any type of unconventional housing, like a houseboat, a tiny house, a mobile home, what would you choose and why? Tell us in the comments below. Besides that, we'll talk to you later.